What's going on? We're live in the studio. We're starting a little early. We're gonna do this thing and see how everyone's doing in the trucking world. If you got any questions, comments, or concern, it's the day before Halloween, so it's Hallow Eve, and if you got any questions on trucking, I'll be happy to answer them. Shout out to everyone out there passing their test here lately. Congratulations. It's been nice meeting all the new guys coming out there saying, hey, I watched your channel and it brought me here. So, like, that's always awesome. I'm an awkward guy, so I never know what to say to them. So I'm like, oh, yeah, cool, man. Thank you. you know? So it's crazy because I can get on here and I can talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people will watch me stream. And, I can stream, I can make videos, but in person, actually talking to people, sometimes I'm all like awkward because I don't really know you. Like I gotta really kind of get to know you first. So, there's that. I just been out there teaching people how to back drive and do some pre-trip, and I've been talking to different people about what they think's going on with freight and the market and all that good stuff. So, a lot of the stuff that's been going on in trucking here lately is that there's too many trucks out there, in my opinion. My opinion is that there's too many trucks out there and not enough freight. And I'm starting to believe more and more that they kind of want to keep it that way, because if they keep the rates down, the stuff in the store is cheaper, but at the end of the day, we're the ones suffering on it. So also, like, cost of living's going up, and truckers are not getting raises due to that. It's all about keeping the freight cheaper. So there's that. You know, I I can't tell you exactly why it's been kind of slow here lately. That's just my thoughts on it, is that there's too many trucks out there. I remember before COVID happened, freight was good. Like, I don't remember ever getting stuck anywhere for 24 hours and stuff like that. What is up, Peg Leg? Welcome in. So, I don't really remember freight being like that. Back then, I remember we were running. Like, at first, it was a team truck. We ran. We were moving, and whenever I first came in, that's 9 years ago. So this is my 9 year anniversary this month. So I've been out here doing this for 9 years. Whenever I first came in, I was scared. I was like, man, I don't even know if I'm doing the right thing. It turns up that like I chose the right thing to do here, and it was come out here to save everything, because at the time I was working corrections and it wasn't paying the bills. So I had to do something, and I chose to chance it all and come out here and do this trucking thing and turn this way some. But I chose to come out here and do this trucking thing, and it's paid off. And we were running freight. Me and my teammate, we came out here together at the same time. Me and my friend, we came out here. We started running the team truck, and we were averaging like 5,500 to 6,000 miles a week, and we were vicious with it. Like, we were hitting up the fleet manager. Hey, where's our pre-plan? Where are we going next? Like, we're out here to make money. If I'm not at my house, I'm here to make money. And we were vicious. So we worked really hard, and you know, unfortunately, like, whenever he hurt his back and he had to be out, had to have surgery on his back and stuff like that. I ran solo. I was out there. I was averaging 2,500 miles a week. And I did it all off of recaps. I believe in recaps. I like running my truck off of recaps. I like the 8 hours, the run for 8 hours, take a 2 hour, or run for 8 hours, and then be off for like 16 hours and then run again 8 hours. My favorite shift was from midnight to 8 in the morning, so I could park easily. And then I also knew that, hey, I wasn't getting my time back till midnight. So I knew once I parked in the morning, man, I'm good till midnight. I can't even move this truck. I'm out of hours. And I felt like I made the most money doing that not running my clocks out every day, run it out to zero, run it out to zero, and then take a reset. I tried that route. It didn't work for me because the weeks that I would take the reset, it was like, man, I'm losing money here. Like the truck is not moving for a whole 34 hours. If the truck's not moving, I'm not making money. So that was kind of my thing. And whenever I was running my when I was running on recaps, let me mute my phone. Rookie mistake, didn't mute it. But whenever I was running recaps, I seemed to make more than I would running out the clock. It seemed like every week I was making more doing that. I don't even remember how I mute my phone. There we go. But to me, it seemed like I was making so much more running off of recaps than running my clock out every day. I never had that bad week when I was doing that. So like I made money consistently and I didn't have that bad week in there. Now wasn't making what I was making on a team truck, so that kind of wasn't fun. I was like, man, this is kind of going solos like a pay cut for me. I kind of didn't like that. I like the I like the team truck. We would just run, run, run. When you needed to take a reset, your 34-hour reset, then it was easy to do because during your shift you would just park the truck, and or actually the other guy would park the truck, and then you would stay in that truck stop for 12 hours. That's your day off, and then when his clock came back, he ran again. Very few times we actually set where we both got a reset, and then we set somewhere for that was like a setting somewhere for 24 hours. Most of the time we got it done on the loads. We would figure out how many hours it would take to get there, or, where the extra time would go. We would try to hurry up and get there. And then once we got close, it would be like, hey, bro, you're low on hours, so I'm gonna park the truck, and you're gonna get your 34-hour reset out the way. Man, it is crazy tonight. So, like, I'm used to y'all's names not having like the at symbols in them. I don't know why tonight it has the at symbols in them. Like Pegleg's name is at Pegleg. Greenwitch's name is at Greenwich Trucking. Good evening, Greenwich. What's going on? Uh, Burner D, that trucker. Twisted, how's it going? Oh man, it's going good. It really is. But running recaps was way better, and running team was better than solo. And I'm talking the company side. I've never leased, so I can't give you the information on that. But my personal experience is we were running hard. Nowadays the freight's kind of, they say the freight's doing great, but I think the amount of drivers is what's hurting us right now. So, from my understanding is sometimes you'll have to wait on a load. Like you wait a while to get a load. Here recently, I've been hearing more people say, "Man, I got a pre-plan. I got a pre-plan." I'm like, "Hey, that's excellent. Like, let's do it." Listening on my drive. All right, Greenwich, be safe out there, buddy. But yeah, it's all about making money is what it is. Like the you figure out the way in trucking to make the most money. Whether it's take the run your 8-hour shifts or if it's run your 12-hour shifts. It's whatever works best for you. And that's why it's really hard for a lot of people to give you advice on trucking. They're like, well, I run mine like this, and this is how much money I make, and this is how I do it. And then the next guy's like, nah, I can't make no, you can't make no money like that. You got to do it like this. So when you come out here, you get in that first year of experience, you got to figure out like what works for you. I can tell you all day long that, hey, my experience, don't take that reset, work off your recaps. Now, if I had extra time on the load and I could get a reset, I might as well get it so I could work it into my load and get a reset anyways and get my hours back. That way, if I do need them, I have them. So there's ways around it. That the clocks are really really like you got to get your hands on those clocks and figure out how they work. A lot of my students ask me, they're all like, man, how's these clocks work? And I was all like, I can explain it to you all real fast and I can tell you all about it. Well, odds are you're not going to know any of it until you're actually hands on with it and you do it and do it and do it. And that's whenever you're going to start really putting that into your mind. You know, other than that, like talking about logs, it's confusing. You know, it's hands-on experience. It's learning what works best for you and how to manage your time. That's one of the things also that will make you the most money, and is being able to manage your time, be able to manage like how much how much time you're going to spend here, how long is it going to take to the next location. Like so I've never seen messages like I've seen here lately about people needing to do better trip planning because they're not getting the loads there on time. And this new GPS in the truck, the new Geo tab, the GPS on there, I forget the name of it. Whatever the name of it is, that thing's not good. I've looked at it and it has the little time on it. It gives you an ETA. You're gonna get there by 3 p.m. I have never ever seen that right. I've actually moved it off of mine. I went through the settings and moved it off so I could put the speed of the truck on there, because in the KW you can't see the dash to see how fast you're going. So I have actually pulled that off of there and put the speed on there. That way I have a good idea of about how fast we're going, because from the passenger seat I can't see how fast my student's driving. So I actually did that. And you know that also that new tablet, look at it whenever you're putting in your loads and stuff. Look at the trip plan that it has for you. Like, so whenever I leave Springfield to go up to Kansas City to deliver do a tire run, or whatever I'm doing, a load up there, it'll tell me to go all the way down the 44 to the 49 and then take it up. That adds on an extra hour to my drive. Like, it turns a 160-mile load into about a 189-mile load. So right there, you're losing out on a bunch of time. So when you put it into that map, look at the different routes it's taking you. You can zoom in on it. Also, do your trip planning. I had never ever have figured up the time I gave a ETA that I've used one of my navigations on. If I gave a ETA, then what I would do is I would take how many miles I have. Like, say it's like 400 miles, and I got a full shift. My fleet managers asked me, "Hey, what's your ETA?" I'm gonna trip plan at about 50 miles per hour. I know I'm gonna be able to do 62 on like the highways and stuff like that, but I'm gonna trip plan at about 50 miles per hour. That way, I got some extra time on there, because the ETA is the estimated time of arrival. What's up, Slowpoke? So, you know, I always give myself that extra time in there. Uh, Copilot is much better than the old Navigo. See, I don't I to me I don't think that. Like, I don't feel it. But you know, I will give it a lot of credit, because there are things about it that I like more. Like, I like to be able to zoom into the map and actually click on the roads and change the route of it. I really do like that. I mean, there's some strong sides of it, there's some negative sides of it. But as for like most of the routes it sends me, it's like it's gonna pick the how would you say it? I wouldn't really say the safest way, but it's gonna pick the kind of the easiest way to get there. So via, let's stay on the interstates, stuff like that. Whenever I like to, like, I know the way I want to go. I want to go my way. I don't want, and you don't have to follow it, but if you're using it like a tool, you're using it as a tool, then like you might look at it and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna use this to go this way." It's put me in some bad situations already. I'll tell you that. It's put me in some bad situations. Or not really bad situations. It's had me take an exit and then go across like come to an intersection and then go straight at the intersection, get back onto the same road, and I was like, "What the heck?" So it's kind of different. And Pegleg says GPS is not any better. than looking at an atlas. Yeah, and then that's true too. Of course, do your trip planning. I mean, there really shouldn't be too many reasons that you're late because of your your navigation and stuff like that. But it does play a factor into the with the newer people because they are kind of using that ETA on there and giving that ETA and it's going to be wrong and they're also people are not managing their time well, sleeping in extra stuff like that and taking too much time on the load. Like, try and get there as soon as you can. Now, with that being said, also take into account that you got to manage your clocks. So like, if I get a load, I'm gonna take the mileage and I'm gonna break it down to where I'm all like, okay, I want to run about 8 hours a day, so I'm gonna be doing about 350, 400 miles a day, so I'm going to see if I have enough time to run my eights. If I don't, then yeah, a couple days I'm going to have to run over that eight, which is fine. I can make it up on another day. But it's really trip planning is kind of complicated, especially when you add your hours into it and stuff like that. It kind of gets confusing, but the better you are at it, managing your time and the good trip planning, a lot of times it's going to be the difference between making it on time or being late. Uh, Copilot is hot garbage. See, I wouldn't say it's garbage. I'm not gonna say it's garbage because I do like some aspects of it. I just don't think I don't think it's better than the Greenwich said it in the Navigo. I don't think it's better. I don't feel like it's better. Um, I like some of the features in the Navigo, like the search for truck stops or search for washouts and stuff like that. I haven't figured out if the Copilot has that yet because I haven't had a look for a washout. My washout is right there at the. I can't even tell you when the last time I had a trailer washed out because these tire trailers they don't get washed out. I mean, like they just put tires in them, take them out, put tires in them, take them out. I mean, they don't get washed out. They're not very bad inside, I'll tell you that. I don't know if EcoShred sweeps them out every time or what, but looking in them, they're not bad. Every once in a while, there'll be like a piece of it's like some rubber in there from a tire, like maybe they missed like a piece of it. Every once in a while, you'll see that, but for the most part, they get all of that tire off that trailer. So Slowpoke says my last student just couldn't understand the 14-day, 14-hour off concept. Hope he makes it on his own. He likes to sleep. Yeah, with students, a lot of times in my experience with students, because I took a lot over the road. That's what people don't know about me is I took a lot of students over the road. I did not just start doing what I do now. I was over the road with them. I spent I probably took over the road my first like I don't know, 100 students, 150 students. I probably took them over the road like that many. So like I dealt with a lot of people over the road and I they students will look at you like you're their alarm clock. You'll be like, "Hey, we got 10 hours here starting now, so we'll be leaving out at this time. So you need to be up and ready and in that seat by that time." And most of them will not get up. I bought the screening Mimi or whatever it's called. I don't know if it's down here anymore. I brought it home. Like I don't know. I have it around here somewhere, but that thing is loud. It's so many decibels. So the students that wouldn't get up on their own, what I used to do is I used to set that thing to go off an hour before their shift started. So like if I knew we were leaving at 7, I would be like 6 that thing's gonna go off. And what I would do is I get up an hour before my shift. So I get up, go brush my teeth, wake up, come back to the truck, you know, So I just leave that thing in there. I go brush my teeth. I come back a lot of times. I'd find it in like where they got off the bunk and they couldn't figure out how you gotta hit two buttons to turn it off. So they couldn't figure out how to turn it off. So they took the battery out. But hey, at least they're up. And I do the same thing the next day. Just hey, you don't want to get up? You want me to wake you up? I'll just leave that thing around. And that thing pretty much it worked pretty good. Now sometimes I had a couple guys that could sleep through that thing. So I come back to the truck and you can hear it outside the truck. It's so loud you can hear it outside the truck. The guy next to us probably heard it. So I'm coming back to the truck and I'm all like, "What's that loud noise?" Guess what? That's my truck because that thing's going off. So I think a lot of it's to do with that. When your student gets out there on his own and he starts running and gets some service failures or whatever, he's gonna learn real quick. He has to get up. One of my friends, Bo, he has a bracelet that he wears. It's like a looks like a smartwatch. He wears it whenever he sleeps, and so he used to have problems getting up with his alarm. So first it vibrates, then it makes a buzz sound or like a high pitched sound, and then if you don't get up for that, next it shocks you like a dog collar. So, he told me he was all like, "Yeah, now as soon as it vibrates, I'm awake. I take that thing off." But he still uses it. He still uses it because he doesn't want to be late for a load. I think maybe the reason he bought it is maybe he was late for a load one time. I don't remember the story, but he was showing me it, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't want no part of that. I don't want to get shocked." So, if your student's having that much of a problem, maybe you should recommend them into getting one of those. Hey, find the shock you awake bracelet. It will wake you up. Ask Gene. Gene was already awake whenever he got stunned, and he was definitely awake after that. So, oh man, that was funny. But managing your clocks is very important to be successful. Managing your time is very important in this career. On time deliveries, very important. Being on time, being early, it's very important. So if you got those qualities and you're thinking about driving a truck, you're perfect for the place. If you don't got those qualities and you're always late and you're getting up late all the time, then this is probably not for you because you're not going to be successful if you're late all the time. Just plain and simple. Plain and simple. That's crazy how all the names are at. I wonder if mine's at. Put yo in the chat, see what happens. Yeah, mine's at Twisted D Trucker. So that's my ad, I guess. That's crazy. I never seen the chat do that. Never seen the chat do that. Pegleg says train horns in the sleeper could wake up the dead if you know what I mean. Oh, Pegleg. Pegleg. But yeah, I guess if you wanted to do that, the shock watch to me that sounds like the one to wake you up. I don't know about you, but I don't like getting shocked. Man, I've been going through it out there in the on the with the students here lately. Man, I had a guy that wouldn't listen. Then I had a guy that was a perfectionist. He put it in the box and it was perfect. It was good. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. He was 0 points, 0 points, 0 points, but it wasn't perfect, and that was his main problem. He ended up leaving Prime. He had his wife come get him, and I was like, man, he was doing so good. So like it's been crazy out there. It really has. Like I'm all like I'm just scratching my head like I don't know what's going on. Like it's just like I hit like this little rut that like I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna get out of it though. I'm gonna have to. I need to find Brandon. I know Brandon. He's good at cleaning the bad out of your truck. You know, burn some sage in there. I'm gonna have to be like, hey, bro, how much is it? Burn some sage in my truck. I need some, I need some help in there. You know, get these gremlins off of it. You know, yeah, I'm superstitious, right? I'm superstitious, so I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Mister Smith, but I can't remember exactly who it was. No, no, it was Joe. Joe told me today on the pad. He's all like, it's a Kenworth curse. And I was like, Kenworth curse? And he's all like, yeah, you got that Kenworth. You need to get somebody to burn some sage in there and cleanse it out. And I was like, you're right. So now I got it in my head that I need to go talk to Brandon, and I got to be like, hey, Brandon, I need your help, man. I need you to burn that sage in there. I don't know how to do it myself, or I would. Or maybe, hey, tell me what to buy, where to buy it, and I'll burn some sage in there. Like shoot, anything, anything. So you have a Kenworth now. How's it compared to the Freightliner? Uh, see, the Freightliner was good, right? Like my last Freightliner was a lemon. That's why I'm in the Kenworth. But you know, I like the Freightliner. I did like the Freightliners. The Kenworth, there's different stuff that I like and I don't like. So some of the stuff I like in the Kenworth is I like the limiter. I love the limiter, really. The limiter is so nice. Like say you don't want your clock to start and you're like at a fuel bay, you know, you got to keep the truck under 5 miles per hour. Well, you can set the limiter at like 5 miles per hour, and you can drive that thing with the pedal to the floor, and it's only going 5 miles per hour, so you don't have to worry about your clock starting or none of that. um like it has some cool features like that. I like that the dings are a lot, like it's instead when you hit the line. So say the lane alert on Freightliners, like you know, it's loud. It sounds like I don't know, some kind of animal eating through the wall or something, real loud. The Kenworth is just ding 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 ding. So like it's I like that. Um, I do like that. I like not having that lane that passenger side lane alert thing beeping in that orange triangle. I'm glad to get rid of that. Um, it's a smooth riding truck. It rides really smooth. Like I'm really enjoying it. I am. I'm really enjoying it. Some of the things I miss from the Freightliner, you know, it's and like I said, little stuff. In the Freightliner, I press one button on the passenger side. I could just hit the roll down button. Passenger side window would roll all the way down. I was like, man, I like that. In the Kenworth, you gotta press and hold it to roll the window all the way down. See, small stuff that I'm like, man, I miss that. I miss that because I used to like just hit it once, you know, and window goes all the way down. So there's small stuff like that. The mirrors in the Freightliner, I could see better from the passenger seat. On the Kenworth, I had to add a little mirror to the top of the driver's side so I could see the side because I couldn't see the side. When my students were doing a lane change without that mirror, I was like, oh, Jesus takes the wheel because I can't really see over there. I can kind of see over there. Not only that, you had to look through the steering wheel. So, like, if you had a student that held that steering wheel just right, you couldn't see because his arm was blocking that bottom mirror, anyways. But you couldn't see straight down the side of the truck. Like, you couldn't. In the Peterbilts, you can because I went and talked to the guys in the Peterbilts and I asked them. And then I talked to the examiners, and the examiners like, yeah, we don't really like testing in those KWs because we can't see down the side. And I said, well, I'm gonna do something about that. I missed the mirror on the passenger side. The Freightliner had a mirror above the passenger side door. A lot of people don't like that mirror. A lot of people don't like that mirror. I liked it because I could look in that mirror and see how close I was to like the curb, or if I was pulling on a scale, I could see straight down right there. And, it's just that peace of mind that you're not over the side. Also, when my students do roadside stops, I used to be able like, oh, you're hitting the curb, man, get off the curb. And now I'm all like, if yeah, you're hitting the curb, like I can feel the truck shaking, like you are hitting the curb in the roadside stop. So I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff that's different like that. I feel like the Kenworth is better on fuel mileage. I do. So the Freightliner, I'd fill that thing up. I'd fill it up. I go to I go to Dupo, and then I could go to Kansas City one time and back, and I'd be at like a quarter of a tank, and I don't let my truck go under a quarter of a tank, so I'd fill it up. This Kenworth, I went to Dupo, I went to Kansas City, back to Kansas City again, and then I went to Harrison, Arkansas, which is only 60 miles away and 60 miles back. But I went there and came back, and I was at a quarter of a tank, so I had to fuel up there. It's saying like the truck says, and my fuel messages have been in the high nines. And for me, high like mid nines to high nines. For me, with students driving, that's extremely good because I've been at the bottom of the list on fuel because let's face the facts, students are not good on fuel mileage. And the Freightliner, I was getting like sevens, like mid sevens, sometimes 8 miles to gallon. So like it was the fuel mileage. I feel is way better on the Kenworth. I believe it's way better. The steering on a Freightliner, the wheel is harder to turn. Does that make sense? Like it's not as smooth of turning the wheel. The KW, the wheel is so smooth when it turns. I I'm better at like backing in the KW is better than the Freightliner, and I think it's just because of that smoother wheel turn. Like it's like and like easy. I went to one of the hardest places we go, and it's a dock where you got to jackknife it in there. You can't get straight with it. You have to jackknife it in there, and that's that. The Freightliner, you're right on the edge of the curb, and I went with the Kenworth first time I was gonna. It was like my first or second load with the thing, and there was a big pile of gravel, usually where my Freightliner used to set, and I said, "Oh man." So I backed it in there, put it in there really straight, and it looked really good. And I was nowhere close to that gravel, nowhere close to it. And I was like, "This is crazy." And the guy inside, he was even like, "Man, I was gonna tell you, hey, just drive all over that gravel. Everyone else has been like, it was a pile of gravel." And I was like, "Man, I didn't touch that gravel." And he's like, "Yeah, I know." He goes, "You did a real good job for this dock." And I was like, so I think that kind of the smoother steering wheel makes it turn. You can turn it faster. So I think that adds into being able to back better in it. But I could be wrong. But it's a smooth turning steering wheel. It really is. I mean, I don't have many complaints about that truck. I don't. Uh, uh, How's the pull and power going uphill? Does it slow down like the Freightliner? Yes, it does. It does slow down like the Freightliner. It's To me, it's about the same as the Freightliner. Uphills is about the same as the Freightliner. They're where the freight so on these loads I go on them all the time. So where the Freightliner was doing like maybe 45 up the hill, the KW might be doing 50 up the hill. So it's just a little bit better. Not nothing to brag about, and it's not really noticeable. It's not really noticeable. I can help you with the Sage. Drop your email or number. Oh man, what's my number? You see that? Wait, I think I got this on here. Ah, there we go. It's not in the right size. How do you resize this thing? Boom. There we go. So I can type it in here because I know nothing about. Yeah, text this number because I know nothing about Sage, and I really am curious about Sage. I might have to start saging out my truck after every student if that works. You're talking to the guy. You're talking to a guy that 9-8. Okay, bam. But you're talking to a guy that has to park in a Let me get this off of here. I don't like this up here. You're talking to a guy that has to park in the same parking spot every time before a test. Like I got my own lucky spots to park in that's gonna help my student pass the test. Like my routine used to be it was step after step after step every time before a test. Like it had to be this, and this. Like and I'm still like that. Like we don't split the poles when we walk inside the building on test day, especially. So there's all these poles in front of the building, and we walk between the same poles. Like I'll slow down. Like I'm not telling my students that I'm so superstitious. They might think I'm crazy or something, but I will be like, I'll slow down and see which poles they're walking between, and I'm gonna go through the same ones because I am not splitting any of our luck here. Like I'm kind of that superstitious, if you know what I mean. Yeah, the Kenworth has the pack car in it. So yeah, it does. The Packard. It does. Copy. Hey, that's my new channel too. I just started that channel right there. I don't have nothing on it yet, but I started that channel. I'm doing I'm trying to do some Call of Duty on there, so I've been making little short videos and stuff like that. So if you don't mind, whenever this is over with, click that and it'll take you to the other channel. I have 4 subscribers over there right now, so 13 videos. So trying something else out just for fun. I have like some extra time now, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and try this out and give me a little bit of a gaming channel going on just for fun. But yeah, if y'all want to subscribe to another channel, then yeah, go for it. But yeah, it has the Packard engine. So I've heard a lot of people tell me that, like, I'm all like, yeah, it has the Packard engine in it, and I was like, yeah, we'll see what happens because everyone says that it's not a good engine. But I've actually a lot of people have been like, hey, no, it's a great engine. Like it's good. Like the new ones are good. The old ones, a little bit of there's some trouble, there's some issues with them, but the new ones are great. So it's kind of like any truck. It's a hit or miss. You either get a real good one or you don't get a good one. So it's a hit or miss. That's how it is. Just like just like Freightliner, International, all of them, it's a hit or miss. You get a good one or you'll get a bad one. With my record with Freightliner was see, I had the manual, then I had the one that got totaled whenever I got into that accident when that car flew over the bridge and I hit it. Uh, that freak accident. And then after that, I got put in a dark green one. Then I got another dark green one. Then I got the white one. So 1 out of 5 Freightliners was bad. So I had the white one was bad. That was the last one I was in. So that truck right there, I didn't finish the whole time I was in it either. I didn't. I I was in it. I think I was in it for a year and a half, maybe, maybe 2 years. I can't remember. It was. I was in it for a little while, and then I finally said, you know what? I ain't doing this no more. All these lights on the dash, and you take it to the shop, and they can't get it in, so all of them go off. It's a Freightliner issue. Take it to Freightliner. Take it to Freightliner. Sits outside. Lights go off, and it's. I had to look for certain trailers to test my students with because I'd be like, hey, that trailer right there, the lights won't come on. That trailer right there, the lights are gonna come on for sure. So like, it was kind of a pain. It really was. It was a pain in the neck. So I finally just said, you know what? What I try to do is I try to switch into Russell's truck, and they told me no. They said no. And I said, fine. They said no because you still got a while in that truck that you're in. And I said, fine. And I was like, that's cool, whatever. I'm not tripping. I was like, I'm gonna stay in it. And then I ended up with no students. So I was like, man, I just tested out my student. They don't got another one for me. I said, man, I'm kind of bored. I was like, I can't stand this truck either. And then I found out that the AC didn't work in the back, and it was summer. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go and go over there and order a truck. They wouldn't let me get a KW. They wouldn't let me get Russell's truck. I'm just gonna go over there and order one. So I went over there and I said, hey man, y'all got some KWs out there? Let me get one. And that's how I got it. Uh, that accident was a mob hit. Someone tried to take you out, right? Man, that accident was crazy. Like crazy, crazy. Ghost in the Wire. Yeah, I've seen. I actually seen that. What was it called? Bonehead Truckers, I think. So somebody sent it to them, and they put it on their one of their episodes, and I was like, wow, that's crazy that my video's on there. But yeah, that thing was a that was a freak accident, is what that was. It really was. It just freak accident. We Who knows what was going on. I was at the right place at the wrong time. Yeah. See, that was that was whenever I was on my way to become an instructor. So I was on my way to become an instructor. That happened. That put me back like a week or two to becoming an instructor because I went home. They had to get them to give me a rental car. Hey, I took some extra days off, got them to give me a rental car. Then I went and got a truck up there, and then they put me in the instructor course. And I told my fleet manager, I said, I thought that you couldn't have no accidents. And he was like, was that accident your fault? I was like, no, it sure wasn't. He goes, okay then, it wasn't your fault. There was nothing you could do. So you're in the instructor course this week. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm glad I was because my friend Frank, the guy that was first I first met that wanted me to go on his truck to be his student. He was in the same class setting next to me. We're right there talking back and forth, talking the whole time. Didn't really notice it. And then I saw one day, it was kind of cold. We were wearing hoodies. Well, one day it was kind of warm, and he pushed up his sleeves on it, and I saw his tattoo on his arm. I said, "Bro, is your last name Perez?" He was like, "Yeah." How'd you know that? I was like, "Dude, you were supposed to be my trainer." We started talking, and he goes, you're the guy that didn't want to go with me because I smoked." And I was like, yes. He goes, you just quit smoking, and you were all like, I don't want to start again, so I don't want to be in the truck with the smoker. And I was like, yeah, that was me. And he was all like, man, I was really vibing with you. I was wanting you to go drive with me. I was like, yeah, I know, but hey, it is what it is. But it was kind of cool, so maybe that's why we talk for a long. We still talk sometimes. Like, good guy. And your old truck has had a Bunch of ghost in the wires. Yeah, something. Maybe I should have got a. Maybe I should have got some sage and burnt some sage in the back of that truck too. We're burning sage. No, seriously though, I would like to burn some sage or something in it to kind of be like, we're gonna start fresh in here. We're gonna start fresh in here. We're not gonna have all this business of whatever's going on in there. We're just gonna start fresh. You sent me the info. Yeah, I heard. I just heard my phone go up off. So that's my second phone upstairs. That number, and I just heard it go off. So awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Shoot, I'm gonna be ordering me some sage tonight to burn in my truck. The thing with it though, the one thing about burning sage in my truck is I kind of set myself on fire before, so I really don't play. I set my beard on fire the most. I set my beard on fire 3 times, and I set myself on fire and my beard one of those times. But me and fire don't get along well. But hopefully, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'll try it outside the truck. That way, if it's like goes up in flames, I can just drop it or whatever and run. But I just don't want to set my beard on fire again, really, because I've leaned over a candle and set my beard on fire. Oh, Brandon trained you? I think I know who you are. I see your profile pic. Ah, you can't. Oh, there we go. Go to channel. Let's see what this is. Oh yeah, yeah. I met you at the pad before. I met you over there at Brandon's truck. Yeah. So, man, I like that green. I like that bright green you got on your truck. That is nice. Heck yeah, bro. I see you doing it. Look, I'm subscribing right now, man. Subscribed. I didn't know you had a channel, so my bad. My fault. We got it corrected now. Subscribe. I'm gonna have to watch some of your videos. Hit that subscribe button. Cha-ching. Yes, about 3 years ago. Just don't. Just do not soak it sage in the gasoline, or you'll be fine. Be you and Fitz. Yeah. Heck yeah, man. See, I was looking at your profile picture a while ago, and I was like, man, this guy looks familiar. I was like, maybe not. Maybe I'm tripping. I was like, he looks familiar. Hey, no problem, man. Hey, I'll subscribe. I'm gonna go check you out too because like I'm out of content really. I haven't been so I haven't I got sick. I got sick last week or week before. I've been sick. I got this bad cold that was going around and so I like that plus I just haven't really been feeling making videos, but I need to get back on them because you should see all my stats on my YouTube. They're all down arrows. Down arrows. Like none of my stuff is like any good. Like it's all down arrows. Watch time is horrible. Like compared to what it used to be. So like I need to get out there and start making videos again. It's like man, once you don't want to make the same videos over and over and over. And people are telling me, yeah, make the same videos because guess what? We're not gonna go search your channel for all of them. And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right, but I think it would be kind of old if I made the same videos all the time. So but it's all good. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm out of here. I got a busy day tomorrow, so like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna get out there, and I gotta teach my student that I had for almost a week now. I'm gonna teach him how to do the last two maneuvers, and I'm gonna teach my new guy straight line back, and go over some pre-trip with him. But like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all for jumping in here. Uh, hopefully I'll be back next Thursday too.